friends, and welcome back to my channel. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so today's video is going to be really interesting. I decided I'm going to do a video which I get a lot of questions about, moving to another state. Now, for most of you that don't know, I moved to Miami about 6.5 years ago from Boston, and I have only been to Miami prior to that 2 years before. So in 2010 I came for Memorial Weekend for the very first time, and I loved Miami. It wasn't about the weekend or anything like that, just the climate, the beaches. I just absolutely fell in love with it, and I decided right away I wanted to move. I needed to live here. And after I wanted to be in a big city, so after jumping around, I want to say for about a couple of months trying to figure out where I wanted to move to, it was either between LA, New York, and Miami. So LA, I went to LA about 12 times. I did San Francisco, I did La Jolla, I did San Diego. I just was like, ugh. I did actual Los Angeles, and I'm like, you know what, it's a little bit too superficial for me. This is kind of not the person I am, and there was no type of Caribbean vibe, and I am an island girl, so yeah, I totally didn't feel LA like that. And although it's beautiful, and if I was married with a family, I would definitely consider moving to a beautiful home in the hills, it wasn't me, for being at the time an unmarried woman with no children. I was just like, this place is kind of cold, not like cold like temperature wise, but I was like, it's kind of cold, it's just so I don't know, it's not me. And I decided okay, well, LA, second choice if anything. New York was another option because my mom lives in New York, so she's always been bugging me oh my gosh, you can come to New York, you would make so much money, you're in hospitality, you're a manager, you can make a lot of money here, and you can live with us for a little bit to save up, and then you can get your own place. And while I wanted to do that as well, I always hated being cold, and that's a place there's winter, so that was another option. So that moved New York third on my list. And then I finally came back to Miami after being in Miami 2010 for Memorial Weekend, and I came on a regular week. It wasn't anything special going on. I came, and I think I came with a friend or maybe some girlfriends, I don't remember, it's been so long ago. And I came, and then I'm like, you know what, I love this place again. And then I came again and again and again. So between 2010, which is the first time I've been to Miami, and 2012 when I moved, I literally came to Miami 19 times, and every time I came, I loved it and I never wanted to leave. So that's how I decided Miami is the place for me. 6.5 years later, I'm still here. So I love it. I love it here. It's very tropical. It's warm. I love the sun. Well, not really, I lied. I don't love the sun. I just love warm climate because I don't like layering. I hate bulking a lot of clothes. I love that the beach is right there. There's always something to do. There's an island vibe, a whole island community, so it's really fun, and I absolutely enjoy it. A lot of questions I get, and people have asked me in the past, and they always ask me, why don't you make a video now that you have a YouTube channel telling us how you picked up and moved? And so here it is. So if you're considering moving to a new state, or in your same state but on the other side, there's some really cool points I have, and I hope you enjoy. I would say honestly, the first thing that you should do is pray. Pray. Once you've decided on where you think you want to move to and you narrowed it down, you need to pray. Ask God for guidance and just pray about it. God is the head of everything, and if you put him first, he will see you through, and you'll be fine. It's a big scary move, and for me, I literally picked up and moved by myself with a couple bags of clothes. Pray. Talk to your parents. They have been adults way longer than you have, and they have really good insight. See what they think. Ask for their help. Make them involved in your move, so that way it lessens your burden. Start saving as much as you can. Minimize your spending. You're moving out of state. Try not to buy any new clothes, because when you move to your new state, you're gonna want new cute outfits to hit the town. Try not to buy too many new things. When I moved, I only had about $10,000, and I will tell you, the place that I moved into was a very high-end luxury condo, and the deposit and everything alone cost me $5,600 just to move into my place. So $10,000 for me and where I wanted to live as my first apartment on my own, it wasn't enough. But I mean, now I can tell you, make sure you save, and if you're going to move, make sure you have as much money as possible. Research areas, like the areas, the apartments, know what the move-in deposits are. Like if for a place, if you think you look at a condominium or an apartment complex that you think you like, call the leasing office, call them, call the association, find out what fees there may be, what you need to know to move in, what's the minimum credit score you need to have to be approved. Also, were you able to transfer your car insurance to the new state, or would you have to get a brand new car insurance? And with car insurance, you want to make sure that you don't have a gap, because they look at that, they weigh that very heavily. So you know, you want to schedule these things in advance, like call up, see what car insurance is in that state to make sure you're not screwing yourself once you're ready to move and you find a place. Miami, you don't need an inspection sticker on your car. So for me, I didn't move with a car. Like I got rid of my car before moving here from Boston, because I literally moved with no job. So don't do that either. Make sure you have a job, but I'll get into that later. Just make sure you call and find out, call the RMV, the DMV, whatever they call it. Find out what you need to know about your car and if you need an inspection sticker. Google the designated state that you want to move to, or the designated town. Google it, see, you know, what it's like living there as a resident. I know when I was moving to Florida, there's a website called myflorida.com that they gave you all the information that you would possibly need to move, and all the things you needed to know. So I went on this website and they literally gave me everything, because I didn't really have any friends or family here. So it's not like I had someone to say, well, hey, what should I do? Like, how do I transfer my plates? Like my license, like what on that website had everything. So you can always Google moving to Iowa or moving to Colorado and see like what comes up. There must be something, because you're not the first person that's moving there, and I'm sure there will be some tips that you can use. Create a moving budget. Like me, I didn't have a moving budget because I wasn't sure, you know, I thought, oh, it's $10,000 in 2012, like that's a lot of money. Like it wasn't enough. So create a budget, like know what your price point is, like know how much you can afford. I just had to leave, like I just needed to get out of Boston. It wasn't for any specific reason. I wanted a fresh start. I just wanted to, you know, slow down and just be in a new state and try something totally different. Create a budget. I didn't do it, but I'm telling you to do it, because if I created a budget, I would know $5,600 to move into the place that I wanted to live. I needed to have more money, and if I did a budget, I would have had more money or waited a little bit longer to move. And I didn't know that. Sometimes I can be very repetitive, and I'm super sorry about that, but sorry. Shop around, look at a couple places, try to like reach out to a realtor. You can go on realtor.com or apartmentlist.com and try to find a realtor that they can be looking at places for you while you're out of town, giving you an idea of what the requirements are to move there. If there's an association, if there's going to be, you have an assigned parking spot. These are all like things you want to know. Make sure you have at least 3 months, I would say 3 to 4 months worth of rent outside of, you know, your moving costs. Like what if you, like your first last security, groceries and furnishing, you should have 3 to 4 months outside of that. For me, in my situation, I had about only 2. And with no job, it dropped it even less than that. So visit the state before you go. Visit the state a couple of times to ensure this is the right move you want to make, because you don't want to go to one part and love it, and then when it's time to move, you cannot find an apartment in that one part. You have not really explored the city. You haven't really fully like been around to know like what there is outside of this beautiful part, and you can end up hating it. Like I remember for me, like I lived in downtown / Brickell at the time when I first moved, which is a really nice area for young professionals, and I worked in hospitality. And so when I first moved, I didn't have a car, and part of my commute to work, I had to take the bus. And taking the bus in Florida is like, oh my gosh, like it's not like taking the bus in Boston or New York. This is like the people down here that take the bus is like, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's like the lower class, but the people on the bus are a little cuckoo. Not saying everyone. South Beach and downtown still a little bit sane, but the more like north you go, taking the bus is not fun in Florida. It's just not cool. So that was like a wake-up call for me. Like, it was a wake-up call, and yeah, like within 9 months I had a brand new car. Like, I couldn't do it anymore. But yeah, make sure you go to the state, you travel around. You don't just go to the town that you think of moving. Go to the neighboring towns, see what's there, see if you're going to like it, see what the job market's like. Start applying to jobs, see if you're getting a response. Like, start doing that in advance. Go, love it, explore as much as you can, and make sure you ask a lot of questions. Again, jobs. Apply to a million jobs. Start applying to jobs before you even leave where you live, because I'll tell you, for me, listen, like I think probably to one or two, like in the beginning of my like my search, I said, oh yeah, I'm moving to Miami, and like in January I applied maybe to 1 or 2 jobs, but then I didn't move in till May 1st. So coming up to that point, yeah, I did not have a job. I lived in a condominium called the Met One. I'll insert some pictures so you guys can see like my first apartment and how the process went from not having anything in it at all, and 9 months later having everything. So yeah, so the landlord was super cool, and you know, the association was countering it because they're like, this girl doesn't have a job. Like, if she doesn't pay your rent, it's on you. And my landlord actually owned the actual condo that I rented. So she was like, you know, she looked at my bank statement and she's seen that money that I had wasn't just money that just like got into my account like 2 or 3 weeks before. That money has been accumulating for some time, and so she went ahead and signed off on the, you know, for me to move in without a job. And I think I had a friend at the time write me a letter stating that I was starting to work for his company within the next 2 weeks. So it was like a BS letter, but I just had needed something to give to them, because associations in condominiums, like, they do not play. And thankfully I lived there for 3 years. Like, I don't know how I did it. Like, it was just super expensive. I was like $15.50 in Miami. Like, you can get a place for a lot cheaper than that. So moving by myself and with such a big rent, I mean, and no job, like, it was tough. But hey, it took me 2 whole months to get a job, and thank God I had a little bit of savings left, and thank God for my parents, because when I graduated from college, my mom and dad asked me, like, what do you want as your graduation gift? And I was like, I don't want anything. For a couple of birthdays leading up to my move, they're like, what do you want for your birthday? Like, I was like, I don't want anything. I don't want anything. Hold all the gifts together, because when I move out of state, when I move to Miami, if I struggle, I need you to help me at least pay 1 month's rent. And thank God I did that, because that's exactly what happened. When I first moved and I couldn't find a job, my mom literally paid my first month's rent. She paid my first month's rent, which was like $1,550 plus my utilities. So let's say she gave me like $1,600, and that was my first month. So I didn't have to touch the little bit of savings I had left. And the second month that I moved, my dad paid my rent for the second month. I was like, oh my God, like, they are the best. And then I found a job. So I was still able to hold on to a little bit of money. I didn't have a car, but my rent was already so high, and I had to buy groceries and things like that. So no car insurance, gas wasn't something that I had to worry about. But I'm in a new state, like, you know, it's difficult. Like, when you first move, you want to try new places, trying to eat out and learn the place and make friends, and it got pretty expensive. And so my little job that I had wasn't bringing in that much money. So I kept dipping in. Like, the third month when I had to pay my rent, like, yeah, my paycheck didn't cover. I didn't make as much to cover my rent. So I had to literally dip into my savings, and I did that for a couple of months until I was able to find a second job. So by the time I found the second job, most of my savings was gone. So yeah, like please take my advice. Like, I mean, it may not be a lot, but just listen to me, and yeah, just get a job before you move. Just do that, so that way you're not really digging into too much of your pot. I would recommend to start selling and getting rid of any unwanted things, like furniture. Like, start purging your place. Purge all that you can, or things that you know that you would never wear. And I gave away a lot of things, and I sold some things. So I gave away a lot of my winter clothes because I knew I wasn't going to really need that. But because I lived with my dad before moving, I had furniture, like little dressers and things like that, but they were old. Like, it wasn't anything that I was gonna move with into my brand new 25th floor Miami apartment. So I was like, I don't want any old thing in my new place. You can go on OfferUp, Craigslist, and those places, and just sell as much as you can, because you don't want to know that when you're close to moving that you're stuck with all these things, and you like, or you're holding up your roommate, or you're holding up your parents. Like, you left, but there's a whole bunch of crap still in your room, and you just don't know what to sell it or to give it away. I would say to start this process like 3 to 4 months out. So if you know you're gonna move, let's say in May, like January, February, March the latest, start getting rid of stuff and accumulate as much cash as you can, because you're going to need every dime when moving. Another thing is, look around for free boxes. Like, go to department stores, like grocery stores, and ask them if they have any boxes that they could spare, because you know, moving boxes, like if you go to those storage places to buy boxes, they can get a little expensive. So, and you may think, oh, it's moving boxes like $2 or $3 a box, but imagine, like, you have so many things that you want to move, and you want to separate a bunch of your things. So you want to make sure that you label these boxes too. So I did my move with trash bags, and because a friend of mine at the time, we were driving down, she was coming down with her car, so boxes would not have been a good idea. So we put our things in trash bags so that it can, you know, we can push it in and squeeze it in a little bit more and fit more things. So that's a good option too. First, I came to Miami with 4 suitcases of clothes. And that's when I was coming to look for an apartment, and I left it at a friend's place, and then I went back, and then I drove down with the girl, and so that's when I did the whole trash bag things. But if you're gonna hire movers, just boxes are easy too, especially for your dishes and things like that. Just make sure you label everything. If you're going to be putting things in storage as well, like if you're moving and you're not going to be getting a place right away, you're going to stay with a friend until you get an apartment, make sure you wrap your things really well if it's going to go in storage. Like, even if it's boxes, some storages have rats and stuff, I've heard. I mean, I've had a storage for some time after moving in between apartments here in Miami, and I never had an issue with my things, but I heard some storages have rats and like roaches. So you don't want to know that your things are in storage and there's roaches and rats like living through your things. So you want to make sure you wrap them really well with plastic, and like spray it with I don't know, like roach and ant repellent, just to make sure you know, your furniture and your product, like your items, are not damaged. Especially like your mattress. If you're going to be putting your mattress in storage, oh my god, just there's these plastic cases that you can buy, and you can just buy it and like put your mattress in there, and just to secure it, I would recommend to do that as well. You can get one on like Amazon or something. Try to do as much as you can do for yourself. Guys, 1 second, I'm going to have some lemonade, and I'm actually using my cousin Sexy Beach by Rhonda. This little jar that I got from her swim show back in July in Trinidad, so I'm really thirsty. I think I'll keep this right here. But look into moving companies, or even see if, you know, getting a U-Haul would be easier for you. Get a friend to drive down with you, and or your parents, and see if that would be easier for you. Like, again, me, I had a friend and she had a car, so I was able to fit a lot of my extra things in her car, thankfully. But you know, try to do as much as you can do yourself. You can save money from hiring a moving company and do it yourself. I mean, it was horrible for me because I've never sat in a car for 26 hours in my life, but you know, we made it here, and we saved a lot of money, and our gas was only like $160. So, and we did it where we avoided tolls. So that was like, it was just an experience, you know. And it's kind of, if you're with someone that's fun, like, it's going to be fun. So as much as you can do, as much help as you can get from your friends and family, take it, because listen, moving could cost, and it's very costly, and you don't really know how expensive it can be until you actually get to the new place and see all the things that you really need. And so yeah, another thing I would recommend is having a going away party. I had a going away party, and I literally asked everyone for gift cards and cash. I'm like, don't get me, yeah, it's my first apartment, like, I'm moving, but don't get me any gifts, because it's less things I have to carry. I'm like moving out of state, not really taking much things but my clothes and personal belongings. Please don't get me any physical gifts. Like, if you can please just get me gift cards and cash, even if it's $5, I'll take it, because it's $5 that can go towards getting something that I really want. And then I'm very picky as well, so I didn't want people to get me like really cheap gifts from like the dollar store, which I'd be still thankful for. But you know, you have a certain standard. Like, when you move into a really nice place, you want to have nice things as well. So I'm like, I'll prefer to get that dollar to go towards, you know, buying something that I actually love, versus getting something that it's so cheap and I just don't want to make the person feel bad by giving it away or selling it or something. So yeah, gift cards, and you know, get as many as you can. Like, if people want to give you a gift card, like Macy, whatever, like, I would even tell them the stores like Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, Marshalls, like those kind of places, those gift cards will come in so clutch. Like, Home Goods is another one. When I did my going away party, I got like $1,400 total of gift cards and cash, which was such a big help to me. All like my stuff for my bathroom and my first pots and pans and like dishes came from gift cards. So, and my bed sheets and things that I needed came from gift cards. So please, like, think about that option. Once you know you're moving as well, like, obtain all of your medical records, like your you know, health records, your dental records, anything that you know that you would probably need that you would not be able to just access easily if you're not in that state anymore, or your parents can't get that for you. You know, like, they can't get your medical records, so unless you're probably minor. But yeah, like, get all those things together. And it doesn't even have to just be that. Like, if you have property, like, gather all the things that you need and put that in a very secure, I would say, you can buy one of those containers from like Staples that are see-through, and you can have all your important documents in there, and where it kind of latches and locks to the side, like, it looks like a big like plastic container. But yeah, just like secure all your documents, and make sure you have all those things in a really safe place. Also, make sure like you schedule like the cancellations of your electricity, your water, your gas, whatever you need to stop in that old place before you move. Please make sure you call your company in advance, let them know the last day of service, because you don't want to be billed further for something that you're not using. So call them and let them know, hey, my last day in this place is the 30th, and so I would like to cancel my services on the 30th at like 11:59 p.m. Get that in place so that you don't run into any additional fees that you don't need when you're trying to move on with your life. If your community literally only runs with a specific company, like, or they only would authorize a specific company, like a specific light company, to come into your apartment to do you know, your lights, or they only may have, like, I know one company that I was with, they only use hot wire for their internet and cable. So I'm like, hot wire, I've never heard of them. Like, what happened to Comcast? Although Comcast can be pretty expensive, but I'm like, hot wire? Who the hell are these people? And yeah, it was like the association, that's the only company was authorized to provide internet and cable in that condominium that I lived in downtown. So make sure you call and find out, and you want to set up, like, you know, a date. Return any modems and like cable boxes, wireless routers, things like that that you know that they have a surcharge for if you don't return it in a specific time frame. You don't want to move to a new state and then they charge you for a cable box that you never sent back. Like, take it back, send it back in the mail. Make sure you put tracking on it to make sure that that stuff is sent secured to these people, and you can track it to make sure that they received it so that they don't charge you. I would recommend to stop buying groceries about 2 weeks out. Don't buy any groceries 2 weeks out. Even if you have to eat out a little bit, do it trust me, the last thing you want to do is have a bunch of food sitting in your fridge that you cannot take with you, like milk that cannot really be out of the fridge, and it's going to go bad. Like, just try to use up all your groceries and limit as much as you purchase, because you want to also make sure that your refrigerator is cleaned out and defrosted fully, like 2 days prior to you like moving out. So I would also start cleaning like a month out. Call the leasing office to make sure that you find out the exact color of the paint that they used inside your apartment. They usually have that stuff there, so they can tell you, and you can literally go to like Walmart or Home Depot and buy some white paint or whatever color that they require, and just patch up any spots that looks a little dim, because you want to make sure too when you leave that you get back your deposit, and that will definitely, it's extra cash that you can use towards your new place. Take pictures of your place. Once you do your walkthrough, and after you moved all your furniture out and you pack up, you vacuum your carpet and whatever, and you clean as much as you can, take pictures, because there's a lot of people that's going to be literally coming in and out of your place, looking at this apartment now that you are leaving, and they may break something and you know you left it in good condition, and the association or the apartment complex charge you for it. So make sure you take pictures and videos of everything of how you're leaving the place before you actually leave, and it's just for your records. Also, this is something that's very important, and I didn't do it, but when I didn't do it when I was first moving to Miami, but once I got to Miami and I was moving from my first place to my second place, I will tell you, please pack an overnight bag. And this overnight bag should include some interview clothes, some work clothes, some clothes for the gym, something to sleep in, and just some everyday clothes to get around. Because once you're packing up to move, the worst thing is to pack a box or a bag full of your jeans and your clothes and you cannot find anything. You don't know where your underwears are, you don't know where your makeup is, like it is a nightmare. So make sure before you even start packing your clothes and labeling in these boxes, you pick out a couple of regular cute stuff that you can wear, you can throw on if you're going to a dinner with your friend, or you're going to work, or you're going out just to the movies, or just to run errands. You want to have like a suitcase full of just things that you can grab for an everyday basis until you get settled, especially if your things are going in storage. The last thing you want to know is that you went and packed up your storage and now you have no tops or no jeans because that's in storage. You have to go all the way back to the storage to go and dig through boxes to get some jeans. Please listen to me. Get a suitcase and pack it with just some necessities and things that can carry you through for about 2 to 3 weeks until you get settled. Once you get into your new place, in the new city or state, do a walkthrough again. Take pictures of the new apartment, because if there's anything that's broken, like when I first moved into my place downtown, the closet, like the handle that held up the rack in the closet was kind of loose, and I'm like, if I put any of my clothes on this, like the whole rack is gonna fall down. So I called them and I'm like, make sure you come and fix this. Take pictures of everything when you first move in and email it to yourself. So it's always in your email. Make a folder in your email so you can always have those pictures there as proof to know exactly too how you want to put the place back when you're leaving. Once you move in, I would recommend to thoroughly clean your new place. You don't know who's been there before. If you can get your carpet steamed, pay Stanley steamers, get them to come in, because you don't know what dirt and grime and dust there is in there. And so just do it. I clean my place like 3 times before I actually move in. Like I bleach everything. The place smells so strong of bleach that I literally can't be here for 2 or 3 days. So I'd recommend to do that. You don't know if there was a pest issue before you. I would recommend doing some bomb outs or putting down some things just in case, because you don't know, especially here in Florida, there's a lot of issues with people with roaches and just bugs and lizards and things like that. Like that, they just come from outside inside. When it's hot outside, they want to come inside because it's hot. You don't want any germs to transfer into your clothes and your furniture and none of that. If you're moving into a condominium like I did, make sure you schedule your move, because you can't just use the elevator in a condominium to move your things just like that. You have to use a specific elevator which is you have to schedule it. It's a moving elevator, it's all padded up, and they don't want you to screw up their nice elevator in the lobby. So you literally have to go through the loading dock where they'll schedule a time that your moving truck comes in. They'll give you a window, let's just say from like 10 to 12, and they'll say, okay, like this is the time you're scheduled. You have the elevator like assigned just to you. They'll give you the key or the code or whatever you need to use it for that specific period, and then that's it. Like you sign it in and out. Especially like in these luxury condominiums, yeah, you definitely need to schedule that. Once you get your place, you have the moving day, electricity and water. That's the first two things I would consider turning on, and then everything else you can follow through. You can always wait for cable, you can always wait for internet, but electricity and water, you need to shower, you need to see what you're doing at night, and to charge your phone and multiple other things. So and to even be able to cook, like, so you definitely need water and electricity. So that's the first things you should consider turning on, especially if you don't have a job. You don't really have to get cable and internet and all that stuff right away. So again, those are two things I would definitely consider. Once you've moved to your new place, I would recommend going to like your local post office and definitely changing your address. I did that before I even left Boston. Went to USPS and I changed my address before I even got to Miami, because I already had like my lease drafted up and I knew exactly where I was going to be moving. So I did that before. My mail already started to forward to Florida before I even got here. Then I would say, last but not least, like settle in and don't rush the process. Like you're just moving, everyone know you just moved. Like you don't need to impress your friends, you don't need to impress anybody, because you don't want to go broke buying all these things, just to please your friends. I was at that place where I was working, like I said, a very mediocre job when I first got here. So I had this really beautiful apartment with no furniture, and my friends that came and sat on my floor and ate pizza with me, they are my friends still today. And those are the people you want in your corner, because they appreciated me when I had nothing, and when I got everything, they're still here. So make sure that you don't rush. This is your place. You don't need to furnish it on anyone else's time. Take your time and buy things that you actually need, not things that you want. I'm not saying there's going to be things that you want because you want your place to look cute and whatever, but the main things you should focus on, like getting a new bed. If you're going to get a new bed, that's your first thing you should get. And then you should get a sofa, and then once you get a sofa, you get your TV, and then you get all the other little things will come after. Get your main staples that you cannot not have in an apartment, and then build off of that. You don't want to buy things. I mean, IKEA is pretty decent. Some people get stuff from IKEA and it lasts them forever. I'm not an IKEA person. I've definitely gotten things from there, but like pictures and things like that. But IKEA is the perfect place for a start, or even Walmart. You can go on Walmart online and get like really cool bundle deals. I think I got my TV and the stand and the DVD player and all that as a bundle package, so you can definitely look into that as well. Again, trust the process, and I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, any comments, anything, I'm probably going to do a revision, but anything you would like to know further, you can leave a comment, send me a message. You can even message me on Instagram, or if you have any questions of anything I left out, you can always tell me what worked for you, and I would be definitely happy to include that in my revision going forward. If you're trying to move and be crazy like me with no family, no friends, and just pick up and move out of state, you can definitely do it, but you just have to take your time and make sure that you do it the right way. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.